Let me
Welcome
just
everyone
turn
tonight.
on something as well. Hold on.
Welcome conscious leaders. And I would like to invite to the stage Barbara Kobylinski. Welcome. She has been presenting many times and we are so excited. We know that Barbara is ex-project manager and or retired project manager, but she is on a journey of leadership. She's a leadership coach, and she's writing a book. That's what we know, and at the same time writing her program. So tonight, in her series about leadership, and I should say probably it's still the same leadership in motion, but she's going to take us deeper, I imagine, where change finds form. And I would like to invite Barbara to the stage to explain what all this means and how we can improve our leadership skills.
Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you very much for being here. I'm delighted to present it to you. It's not that much about more content, it's about more experience. And with that, I will be inviting you to share your lived experiences, right, on the topics that I'll be discussing, because that's where this adds value. It will allow me to use some of this information, have a deeper understanding, and will have more courage to talk about myself. Okay? So,
awesome.
Leadership in motion. Leadership today isn't about stability. It is about, I'll be looking skewed a little bit because you are on my side screen, and that's just so it is, okay? It is about movement. Most leaders treat change as a problem to solve. This presentation shows that if we look at it as looking at it from the point of view of an ocean, woods, and wind, we get to experience it differently. With ocean, about movement. With wood, about complexity. And wind, sensing and responding. And all of those apply to every experience that we have. So, but before I start, can I, and I'll have to calm down because I can hear myself getting really excited about it. Before I start, can I ask you typical 2 questions? Who here has ever experienced change in life?
Maybe I would say.
Who here experienced a change at work or business that impacted your life? And who here has lived through life change that impacted your career? That's right, all of us. I think everybody on the planet has experienced change this way or the other. As a matter of fact, I don't remember where, but I saw statistics that said that 35% of, sorry, not 35%, that we make 35,000 decisions a day. So if that's the case, that means that we are also experiencing change, maybe not every time, but most of the time. We already spoke about the ocean last time, so this will be a little bit of a recap, because ocean represents movement, and leadership unfolds in a world that does not stand still, because ocean doesn't stand still. Ocean, it behaves like a living system, a complex living system that is unpredictable, that changes all the time. It is in constant motion. We can see the waves. What we can't see is the undercurrents and the chemical changes that cause the waves to change. But we can see when there is a disruption, there is an opportunity for something else in the nature to fix whatever problem that has created. And if we think about stability in the context of the ocean, because we think of stability when we think at work, the stability comes from inside. And I didn't mention that every organization behaves like an ocean because we can only see the reports, the performance, the results. What we can't see is the culture underneath, the trust, and the emotions. And who helps us there? It is the leaders. They, until now, they have been planning, executing, and controlling. That's what I have been taught as I was doing. I'm performing my project management role, as you said. What we do now, also, we sense when we plan. We may have a plan, but we have to sense whether we are going according to plan. We interpret the results, we adapt, and then we move on. And now going into the first question, which I'll start, but I'll ask you, and for the sake of time, I think I will ask one of you to respond to question, and then we will move on. Otherwise, well, we can do it either way. I don't really mind. So the lived experience, what keeps you stable when everything is in motion? And if I were to look at it myself, I think the biggest thing in my life was the move to Australia, where we came full of hope, wanting to belong, wanting to get a great job and a great life. And for me, it meant that I wanted to work in my profession. But it didn't happen straight away. For the first month and a half, I was a translator for the Department of Ethnic Affairs, because I was in Poland also a sworn interpreter. And then I got a job in a small electronic company that as a consultant. And then my daughter was born. So it's only about a year later that I tried again looking for a job. But this time had a little bit more feeling of the ground, although very scared because I was on maternity leave before I left, and then in Australia. But I wrote to two companies, and both of them wanted me. I got a job at NEC. What I really wanted is a job with the telco. But the telco was only employing graduates because they were taking a baby and then growing them to the fully grown professionals. But as I was working at NEC, they changed their policy. And after 5 years, I applied and I got the job with the telco, and I stayed there for 25 years. My job was of principal engineer. That was exactly what I wanted to be. Now, if I spoke a lot, but that was just the beginning. Can I ask you, and maybe I will ask you all as well, to tell your lived experience, which shows what keeps you alive when you're moving, what keeps you stable when everything moves. Yes, Shona.
Such a great example, Barbara, and thank you for asking that question. For me, it's been my foundations. I have been gallivanting around Australia, so I've had different sceneries, different days, different people, lots of different things, lots of change. I've moved from one house to another now, kind of. We're just in a little bit of a limbo land, but what's really kept me stable, I guess, is my husband. And also,
that's great.
yeah, but also my wellness practices. So I have a few things that I like to do every day that gives back to me and to my wellness. So I'm not pouring from an empty cup, and I'm not losing it at any kind of uncertainty or change, as much as I can, which is my meditation practice. I do that twice a day. And I also do my 100 mountain climbers a day, and I obviously nourish with our products. But they're all those things. Oh, plus I love to run and walk now, so and do my do my little weights when I feel pulled to, but just foundations that I usually go back to feel like I'm at home, but I'm not. I'm like always on the go.
Beautiful. It's a good reflection for all of us to just remember those moments. Maybe I will ask you in turn, if that is okay with you, to share your biggest change and how it kept you going.
So my biggest change would have to be my mum passing away. That was what I guess rocked me recently. Like, I mean, that was 2020, but I think that change really got me over many other changes I've experienced in life. It makes moving house really easy. The sound of like me packing up, 16, 17 years of our life and moving was very chaotic, but still not as, I guess, devastating as my mum leaving us for her next adventure. So I think that was, I was in that time. I was doing a lot of things in a lot of habits that weren't supporting my mindset and my health and my wellness and my energy and all the things. So I went into a very deep, dark hole for some time, but I managed to dig myself out with curiosity and this, with the heart of servicing others, because I like to think that I was, trying to fill a void by by trying to give back to other people and but also learn how to support myself at the same time, which was something that I felt was good for humanity, not just myself.
That's very honorable. Beautiful. Thank you very much, Shona. Yolanda, would you or Elizabeth, would you like to share?
Yeah, I could. Okay, Elizabeth, go for it.
Okay, so what actually happened, I had a vision since I was in Poland to go somewhere. I was traveling to different countries, studied tourism recreation as well as in the nursing. So I had a vision about things to change my life, mainly for whole family, because I was worried about kids to be in a different lifestyle than we had there. So I had a vision, I have a plan, and go with it. But on the way, as always, a lot of stones came on the road. So you have to adjust, but you have to focus. What is the most important in that? So I did focus on each part. I know I have to learn language, English language. I know other languages, but I didn't learn, haven't had in my mind English. So that was priority, establish kids' schools and things, and so they can play piano and learn whatever they have to at schools. So then they grow up and they went to their own lives. And I was thinking and adopting to a new life. Was a single mother then, and I have to think what I'm going to do next. I will study a lot of self-improvement, self sort of visualize different myself, and mainly to get that big bag of responsibility then to take care of my health. So I did have my own business, the therapeutic massage. I did a lot of study with different people, how to meditate and how to physically take care. So I did a courses, massage, therapeutic shiatsu, Reiki, mentally. And that gave me a vision what I can do. I have that strength, came the strength. So I have a vision what the next step will be. So then when the kids went to own life, really, I know I only have to do something smaller with the house. I had 4 bedrooms and plus some other things. And my kids were moving away. They want to be far away from mom. Good, no good, I don't know, but I think it's the best actually. So I have to shrink my place to smaller as I learn. That was new step. So whatever, and work on the top of that, there was a lot of changes in the medical field as I work in a hospital, nursing home to keep paying bills and things, and doing my business as well and study. So it was a lot of things, but because I have a vision what I can achieve later on, and I was doing a lot of writing and notes. It get me to another point in my life to publish the books, make a book to publish. I thought my kids will also learn something because I put my life story through life experience in my field in nursing. But looks like I sent to my kids. They didn't think even so, it's good for them or whatever. I never heard anything about what they've done with that. I send them, literally, I bought the book from Amazon and send them. So that is another lesson for me. So kids don't want parents to show even their own life. Maybe when they get to the age like I am now, maybe they will have reflection. So I am keeping albums. I was thinking I destroy a lot of things, but still albums persist in my stock. And that maybe will be another things which they can sort of, and letters they were writing to me, but they forgot and changing the stories. So that's the things at work. You always have to go with flow. You have to, as a nurse, you have to be really strict to the policies, procedures, keep that, meeting different kind of people with the mental behavior, sickness and whatever. So that was another thing which I was taking on the board and making life maybe easier for them and for myself. So that's probably, I would say, so ended, we never ending be a leadership of own life. If the family don't want, well, that's the choice, and that is natural apparently, because they grow into different level of life. As we know, even artificial intelligence gave an open road to another action, so maybe they appreciate more the connection.
They will, and I just remember how I read everything that my mom wrote, right? I am reading it now. That's what happened. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Is it okay if we ask Jolanta to contribute a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Barbara. It's a great metaphor. I'm looking at that picture here. The surface of the ocean it's kind of calm, but it's so much happening underneath. And it's exactly like, human being, because on the outside, we often appear very calm and collected, but there's so many things, so many agendas, so many things going on inside. And so thank you for inviting me to share what is going inside and what keeps me stable. I am, over the years, let's call it vision, mission, purpose. This is my anchor, always been my anchor. And as I go through life, and there has been many changes, I always hang on to that anchor. And so, taking a small things like at work, when I do projects, I always look at what is the goal. And so I'm able to cut out all the noise. And so I apply this rule to everything in my life. And so what is the vision? The vision's always changing as we're growing, as we're developing. There are fundamentals within that vision, mission, or purpose. It's my family. because it's connected with my values, it's my family, and and friends, and the environment at large, meaning, you know, what's the agenda of the world. But then my private thing is my goal. This is where I am going. And so everything kind of, I look through these glasses, because I'm kind of very specifically not allowing myself not to moving toward making a little bit of step towards that goal. And sometimes I'm even thinking that I'm spreading my goal across my immediate family and friends, so they belong to my goal. And so they become part of the goal. Maybe unconsciously they do, but I know that I've kind of superimposed my goal. And so that's what keeps me stable. And I cannot imagine that I don't have that passion, I don't have that vision, I don't have that in front of me. That's what keeps me stable. And the anchors, apart from family, friends, and environment, obviously I choose my daily habits to support all this. So I behave certain ways, and I think that sort of relates to what Shana was saying. Maybe I meditate, maybe I do exercises, maybe I do a reflection, maybe I think about this, because that gives me, puts me into alignment, really, into the person that I need to be stable, or stably moving across this motion, which is the world.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Yolanta. That was a beautiful share and a lot of direction forward. We are leaders. We definitely are. Is that okay if I continue?
Sure. Thank you very much for asking.
The next metaphor is the woods. Woods represent complexity. The deeper we go, the more we see. The more we see, the more complex things become. And wood is where the leaders mostly are. They deal with with big and small problems. Sometimes we all get, as leaders, we get lost, we get outside our path, we get overwhelmed. And the woods become difficult. Initially, they maybe feel simple, then they become a little bit complicated, that then become complex when people start panicking and people start losing trust in themselves. That becomes complex until it can also get into chaotic states. But we don't control the forest. So the role of a leader is to find a path. We can go the easy way and cut the whole wood off the ground, but that's not the purpose. We want to navigate to the other side. So what happens in that process? We may have a direction, but being deep in the woods, we might have lost track of where we are. We need to reorient our position, to check where we are, where we want to go. What is in front of us? Can we go forward? Make a judgment, interpret what we are observing, and then adjust our steps and navigate through the forest until we get to the other side. So from, again, the clarity, control, and certainty, we move into orientation, navigation, and movement. We move with awareness, and we sense, we make a judgment, and we move. Now, with that, if I went into exploring that, is how do we move forward when we face complexity? And where I would like to bring my own story is out of 29 years in the telco company, I got seconded to go to UK. And for 2 years, and it ended up being 5. And the first day, I clashed with another lady. because she had an expectation that she is getting a helping hand, but that's not what I was invited to join for. And I had to work through it, and it's not in my nature to go and ask for help. So I struggled with that on my own, which was difficult. My solution was I became an expert in the systems they were using, an expert in the relationship with the global companies they were dealing, and an expert supporting the people there. It doesn't mean that it was all perfect. And that initial energy, that positive energy that I came with was a little bit lost because my self-regulation wasn't that good. But I did move forward. What about you? Would you like to share how do you move forward when faced with complexity?
I can start with sharing because looking at your picture again, it's just my mind is going. So what happens with the complexity? And you have you said this metaphor that it's like a forest, and then we have to find a path. So how do I do when I face with the complexity? If I can take your metaphor, I see the forest. The most important part in the forest are the trees. Mm-hmm. And so the trees know everything. And so if I can imagine the trees are my team, I speak to trees. They know everything. And that's together. And I try to create the environment where obviously that this environment exists in the forest, that there is some kind of loyalty. There's an environment that one support the other. And I can bring it to my team to bring them together because even though I have experience in the past, that there is, especially in architecture, probably in other professions as well, there's so much competition and people are trying to undermine each other. But my goal was always to bring them together because I believe that everyone is unique and everyone can contribute in a unique way. And the same in the forest. Every part of the forest has its unique role. Otherwise, it will die. The whole forest eventually will die. So that's how I go through the complexity. I try not to see myself that I'm alone. Everyone around me knows everything. They have the answer.
That's right. People have answers within themselves. Thank you. Thank you, Jolanta.
Thank you for your metaphors. My mind is kind of...
Elizabeth, what about you? How do you move forward in face of complexity?
Yes, it is complexity because the way those people, like Jolanta, have impressions of the trees are like people, but also they are the people who has some rules in the work, and you have to find a good way to go through line. So I would say educate people, have plan, so it's easier to do. Listen, and you will navigate your plan to right direction. So that's what I could see in that forest, the metaphor. So that was always me. And of course, working in different fields, but mainly medical, you always from the top, you have sort of policy procedures. You always have to stick to that and get education to the people and navigate them to that right direction.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. A very important role of a leader, both cases. What about you, Shona?
For me, I generally like to speak things out. So I will go to my trusted soundboards that are good to listen. They have really good listening skills and really good confidentiality, but also very good in the sense of coaching side of things, because they ask me really good questions to consider. And so I generally go deep into, and I know that sounds probably not like, it sounds like it's going to get complicated. But generally, once I've processed and worked it all out and set it all out and weighed it all up and done all the things, I tend to lean back to simplicity by just, being open to look at it from all different angles, pick it apart, and then put it back together again.
Beautiful. It's the relationship with the clients is very important. I think I was working on the other side, and I preferred that, although the relationship was core in all of my work. All right, is it okay if I continue?
Sure.
Of course.
The third metaphor is wind. And the wind, we can't see it, but we sense it. We don't control it, but we sense it. We cannot control the wind, but we can learn how to navigate it. And wind can be a pleasant zephyr just masking our face, in which case we just dream. But it can be pushing us, can be penalizing us. So when we deal with wind, we have to be present to it, not focused on getting somewhere, but watching where it is trying to push us as well. Being aware, being vulnerable in face of a strong wind, and sometimes surrender, but not 100%. Just like a yacht in the sea, it's going in a certain direction, sets up the sail to capture the wind in such a way that it takes it where it wants to go. And that's what we need to do. So again, and accept that we don't always know. We can be pushed away, pushed out of our direction. We have to find ourselves going back again. So we again need to orient ourselves, to sense the where we're going, and respond, not react. So in this case, the most important part of the leadership role is vulnerability, is being able to deal with that, courage, and accepting uncertainty as part of our job. It is the emotional truth of leadership, the vulnerability, courage, and uncertainty. It's part of work, part of the ecosystem. It is not a failure. That's how we work. So if from here we go and explore our lived experience, what helps you stay oriented when certainty disappears? I will relate to my roles changing. And it's not only on mine, but I have heard it other people saying as well, is I was not always responsible for myself. I became a project manager, then a operational manager, then development manager. I had 60 people under me. And they were progressive changes. I had to refocus, first of all, accept it. Once my body accepted it, our neurology is such that it needs to accept where we want to go, focus, and get connected, get the connection with people so we can move forward. So that was my experience. And what was your experience? What helps you stay oriented with certainty when certainty disappears? Elizabeth, would you like to go first?
Yeah, well, actually, I was 22 when I became a director of nursing, so law, staff, and nursing, and that was something new. And I was very, I did 1 year course management after graduation from nursing, And I have an idea, but I haven't had much practice at this stage of my life. I did work during my 5 years nursing study. I had experience with the patients, but I didn't manage actually staff, but I observed a lot, and it gave me a lot of experience actually through observing people, patients, and also staff. So when I got to the position, I even when something was suddenly happened, because it would be anything, accident of staff, or lack of equipment at the stage, or whatever, was suddenly, you have to. So I used to do a plan, like day to day before I came to work. I was thinking what could happen, actually, what I have. So I actually have assessed everything. So equipment, the policies, where I can get stuff from, and so on, and how quick I can do that. So by that, I was stable, and people used to come to me even from different places that was out surgery then. They call me, listen, can you tell me, because nursing in Poland, I started in Poland, it was like a government body, and from one suburb like we have to manage all of the little places, school, childcare, and so on. So it was very important to have grab all of the ideas when something happened, where to send people and how to act. So that was when you quick can act, and so can happen. So you're never upset if somebody brings bad news to you. So that was another thing which happened to me. When I came to Australia, also, you started from the beginning, different angle of things, action, but as you adopt, you have your plan in your mind, you go with flow, and you introduce yourself, what that company, because I've been in a public hospital, but in private hospital first, how they apply the things. So those information and practice, it gave me really good guideline for life.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for your share, Elizabeth. Shona or Yolanta, which one wants to go first? Next.
Shona?
Yeah, so for me, when I'm feeling uncertain about things, when things aren't great, I tend to think about all the things that I can be certain about. Because everything else that's not in my control, I can't do anything about. All I can do is try and keep calm and focus on the things that I can, which, depending on the circumstance, like, for example, my daughter's first boyfriend ever, decided to break up with her last night, and I wasn't ready for that information. And it's been some time since I've had that conversation.
Wait, what?
And yeah, like, for her certainty had completely crumbled to the ground, and I was trying to find the things that I could be certain about. But what I found to be the most supportive was just to be there, because nothing I can say is going to change anything. It's just that I'm always going to be there, and that she can say and do and whatever else that she wants to feel better, whether that's crying or, I always say to her it's okay to cry, because I cry in front of my kids. And I always remind them about that. But I think I started looking up things, trying to see what I could do to support her. But it's her journey. Like, I can't. That's completely out of my control. And yeah, all I can do is just tell her that, you know, we've got her back, and not to tie her word to that. Like, that was the main thing, was not to change the way she feels about herself based on somebody else's perception. So
That is a beautiful realization. Mom leading the the resolution, giving space to daughter. That is beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing, Shona.
Thank you for listening.
Yolanta, would you like to share?
Wow. There has been many moments like that when the certainty disappears. But what keeps me oriented is let's take an example. In 2009, then I have been very financially exposed, and I had very many investments and many projects going on, financial projects going on, and the world collapsed, and financial world collapsed, and so I really had to go to the basis and remind myself that I will figure this out. I just have to take baby steps to deal with that, to bring my certainty was to believing myself. And my last experience with mom, when the situation came that again I had many commitments and financial commitments, and I had to stop the job because of my values were to take care of mom, and again I trusted myself that I will figure this out. And part of that is leaning to personal development, because in personal development I can find, and I think everybody will find, a lot of wisdom that will underpin us and help us go through the changing environment. And in that changing environment, the certainty disappears, because I needed to take care of mom, and things were happening, and I wasn't always the perfect, but I had to believe that I find the way and I will be a good carer. And at that case, there were millions of things going on. There were financial things going on, and there were home things going on, and there was my mum, how I relate with my mum, so she feels comfortable, and I don't throw tantrums, and I, instead of reacting, I'm taking care of my emotions. So I have a faith that the universe will help me to go through this, because I have a strong belief that this is the lesson that I'm supposed to take at that point of time to move forward with my greater goal. So I've learned in the last few years, I've learned another level of patience, another level of love, and another level of taking care of my financial or other aspects in my life. And that, I believe, prepares me for the journey that is ahead of me.
That's beautiful share. They were very honest shares and deep shares. Thank you very much. That was absolutely great. Is it okay if I continue?
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
The shift that we were talking about, when the leader has to manage in changing environments, becoming the person that is grounded and able to move forward, is transformation. Transformation is the point where something must shift. And the role of the leader is not to simplify reality, but to expand our capacity to deal with change. Leadership strength lies in emotional vulnerability, awareness of patterns, adapting and moving forward. And the ocean, the woods, and the wind are metaphors inviting presence and not escape. And to shift from external control to internal coherence, so that the leader can trust himself. And when he trusts himself, others trust him. And move with, not with certainty, but with consciousness. This transformation sees change as natural part of our world, our ecosystems. So that means that we can learn to serve the change. And that's the purpose of my thoughts. So if we going to the next experience, what is the biggest transformation experience, or maybe most recent? If I can very briefly go to mine, is I finished working professionally when I got to 69. And then I didn't know what next, because for 29 years, I lived the company values. I remember helping my son using company values, better together. So my purpose was very closely linked to where the company was going, and all of a sudden that was gone. And that's how I got to coaching, looking for the next answer. Mm-hmm. And now I am a coach. What about you?
Who wants to start?
You go. What is your biggest transformation?
My biggest transformation. I must say that there were many transformations along the way, but I vividly remember 2-3 years ago where I felt the transformation, because my entire life I was an architect, and I treasured that. That was like a child within me. This was my dream. But there was this also voice inside there that, it was about the contribution. It's about giving the community back. I didn't know what it was, but I always heard that. And when all the stars aligned, and my mom conditions was part of that everything was aligned, and that was the moment that I needed to step into that voice. And it was, at first I thought, this is going to be very, and I'm talking, I went onto the journey to become a coach. At first I thought that was a very natural and a very easy, till I found myself in the middle of that and realized that I'm not as good as communicator. I can't explain really my ideas. So there was a lot of things that I was lacking. I was lacking those skills, and the most important is communication, a clear communication of the ideas. And so I throw myself in different courses, and I follow different agendas in those courses, right? And I've discovered parts of me that I never knew existed. I discovered parts of the humanity that I never kind of spent 5 minutes on. And I was going through all this. I was surfing till I came to the point about 3 years ago, thinking, okay, I've lost me. Who am I? I'm not an architect like I was. I'm not a coach. I've lost my message. I'm kind of drifting here. And I needed, that was the moment that I had to shake myself. And I had an urge to step in back into my voice. It's like, there's a knock on my shoulder and say, well, okay, now that have you experienced all these little trips and journeys, you have to come back to your voice. You have to become you. And that was the first sign of the transformation that I was going through. So I would say that I packed my bags with all sorts of different experiences that people are going through. And now I needed to clarify my experience, my voice, and I needed to be more vocal about this. And so that's when I wrote this course at the time, identity shift. I kind of realized that I need to really, my identity is changing. I'm in the middle. I could feel it. I'm in the middle of the change. And now I need to really focus and be more clear where I'm going and not be afraid if I sound different to everyone else and to myself from a few years back. I just need to follow that voice. And that was my biggest transformation experience, because I was totally aware of that. Previously, I had several transformations, but I wasn't aware of that. And I was hanging on to the past for longer than it needed. And here it was this, like, cutting the umbilical cord. I was stepping into that voice, who is me.
It's a beautiful share, Jolanta. And yes, we all live that and going through the life stages and difficulties, but still head above water. And that's important. Is it okay if I continue?
Thank you.
So this is now about me. My work is a bridge. I am a bridge from who we are today to who we need to be. I am a transformational change coach. I help people in transition to navigate their path to meet their future self. I have lived inside complexity. I experience internal transitions through stages in life, career changes, and relocation. I am integrating rather than escaping my past. I think in systems, I adapt, and I grow. And that is a journey. And I offer coaching to people like you in this process as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
This is my last slide. So what is one insight, if you wanted to talk about who you are, by all means, I wasn't going to force you that, but this is an opportunity. What is one insight you'd like to take away from today?
Actually, each point is very important, which one you mentioned. Everybody mindly asked to be from different country. You have a big transformation, and you take in as you go. For me, was the worst to lose that had as a nurse, because that what was many years longer than others, and always I thought I am the good path, and I like the people. That was good. I had the experience in recreation, but with different kind of people. I was in charge of recreation people and the people who attended the recreation activities. That was different because of the longer part in nursing is still there. And when I'm looking at the other people who comes to me, I never can charge for my to be a coach. You know, I am coaching because that was me all the time. I thought through my life I was coaching everybody, my family, my friends, my children. And that is the strongest things in me. With the experience, anything I touch is there, I share. But the problem is to have income from that. But the nursing gave, because was the arrangement on that. So that was transformation, which I have now through the learning, and I really enjoyed that. My books I start writing because I thought that's the easier way to communicate with somebody and who will be interested. So you are not pushing anybody. because through my experience having a therapeutic massage clinic, I noticed they came just for treatment, but they didn't want to change anything, actually. They didn't do exercise, which I advised. I softly was telling them and showing them what is the best for them, but they came to maybe have a recreation that way, so I did something for them, but they didn't want to keep going. I saw them coming back all the time and from the same start as they did before, because they didn't follow up after this exercise or massage or whatever advice. It was very important. Yeah, so you learn with the family, friends, and everybody. And the transformation was really inside me, because as outside, I can see now through the lectures, people are giving you advice, but you have to go like through school again, and you will have better transformation. But not, I don't know.
And life is changing, taking us on a journey. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. That was a great share. Thank you. Jolanta, did you want to have your
what is one insight from today is it's that life is not stable. It's we are in a constant movement, and thanks to the chaos that is around us, because it mobilizes us to realize that we need to summon the best of us, and we need to polish, and we need to make the best version of ourselves to feed and to survive in this. Not survive, actually, because survive it's asking for little. To strive in the world, because the next generation is waiting for that. We have responsibility to next generation to leave something that we not just lived, we actually created something for them, a better life.
Thank you very much. And what I'm going to take away from it, I'm going to listen to this video again. I'm going to listen to your leadership experiences. This is the richness that confirms whatever I was thinking, and that makes the things I want to write about even stronger. So thank you very much for that. I think curiosity, orientation, meaning, and adaptation and movement is very important. That concludes my presentation. Thank you very much. I'm sorry we took longer than...
Actually, we took the 1 hour. And thank you very much, Barbara. That was a very beautiful presentation. Beautiful in a way that is really inspired everyone, in myself. I speak for others, to really think through what is the most important in our life, because we are all leaders every day. Everyone's a leader. And we are an example for our children, for our family, for a community around us. And this kind of conversation brings this to the surface, that this is important. We need to, and sometimes we need to talk about what is happening under the surface that's troubling us.
Absolutely. And this is the heart of this. I suppose that's the reason this presentation happened, is because I had such a big difficulty talking about my own stuff, right? Because the things that are coming up are the things that you feel the most, and you want to walk around them and pass on the real message. But that's a skill.
Yeah, Barbara, but I think that was the culture in the past, that we were not encouraged to ask the question. And I recall even at school, in earliest primary school, and when children were asking difficult questions or questions that were troubling, everyone was kind of looking with a bad eye. Can't you sort it out by yourself? But what is happening with this movement, I believe, is changing the way we're looking at the troubling questions. troubling questions become the gold questions, because it's so important to resolve those troubling questions at the beginning of when they're forming, rather than allowing these people to be disclosed from the conversation, because they can't sort out themselves certain things. So oftentimes they are not competing in the race anymore, because they got stuck with a question that they couldn't solve themselves. And it's such a pity. But I'm really looking forward to what is happening now, that everyone is, as I used to be told, oh, this is such a child question. Well, let's be children. Let's ask those questions. Let's ask for help.
Yes, and we are getting busier and busier and busier, and still have to find time to answer those questions with attention, right, with presence. So great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to